inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if
What a beast. This computer is a relic of the past, but it still handles games very well, considering how old it is and how cheaply we were able to build this thing. Let's just talk about the parts real quick. You've seen this in other videos. It's just been cased up, essentially. We got an i7 4770K with about 24 gigabytes of RAM on some type of, I think this is an Asus motherboard that we got for about $45 on AliExpress. Not AliExpress, sorry. Macari RX 580. Macari, I think it was $70. Power supply, $20. Facebook Marketplace. We got the case for free, Facebook Marketplace. We got this SSD essentially for free because it was from Works, for a payment for works rendered on building a PC, which was I would have done for free anyway. So technically to me it was for free. My time is free when it comes to doing things I love. I don't care. It is fun for me to do. But altogether, this whole system is about $80. And this thing runs super cool. Look how many freaking fans are in this freaking PC. This PC had a little bit of a problem. Our power button's broken, so we actually had to use the reset button as the power button, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal whatsoever. But altogether, very, very good experience. There you have it, guys. This thing was a fun build. It is dubbed the console killer only because it's cheaper than a console. Definitely certain consoles will play certain games better than this thing, and you could probably buy used consoles too. I think I saw a PlayStation 5 for going for like $300 the other day on Facebook Marketplace. But that's not the point of this video. I know I clickbaited, I called it a console killer. It really is, but it's all in context, right? I really wanted to just show you guys what it's capable of with such old hardware that you can get relatively inexpensive. So $180, $200 range, $250 range if you want to push it up a little bit. Get you not only a great desktop experience at 1080p medium mixtures, we had great experience in Cyberpunk, Horizon, Fortnite, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, all did really good. Was a little bit of a chug on games like Pal World, Helldivers 2, which it stirred above 30 frames, but I think because the CPU is a little long in the tooth, it's really going to start chugging in the higher difficulties. So it's not the best experience for Helldivers 2, but still a good experience without the doubt. Better experience than it on a Steam Deck. So if you want to compare the two, yeah, this is a way better experience because you can even drop it. No, you can't drop it down because the CPU is the issue. They're both CPU issues. Quick caveat that the CPU in the Steam Deck is worse than 4th gen, a 10-year-old CPU in the i7 4770K. So keep that in mind. It's worse than that CPU. That was the quick thing I noticed. I think I did some benchmark tests, and I think it did like 20% better. I don't remember. I lost the footage of that somewhere. But it was about like 10 to 20% better with a 10th gen Intel i7 versus the AMD CPU. Altogether, a really, really great experience playing this thing, and it plays VR. It plays VR relatively well. Beat Saber, not a single problem playing Beat Saber. Pavlov, which is a very fun VR game, it's a shooter game that's very CPU demanding, did cause it to chug a little bit. I was playing some zombies mode, and if you haven't played Pavlov in VR, if you have a VR set, you gotta play Pavlov. It is a fun shooter. I did have to drop down the settings to low medium just to get above 60 frames during gameplay, because anywhere below that it chugs, and then my motion sickness is bad already. That makes me really sick. So really good experience there. I doubt you'll be able to buy a console that cheap and get a VR experience. You can buy a VR headset on the cheap for about $100. I've seen Oculus Rift 2s go on sale for less than $100, and they get snagged up quick. I'm using a Samsung Odyssey Plus. I got for like $250, like 4 years during COVID. You can get them for like $80-$70 now on a used market. I'm just saying there's options out there, guys. You don't need to buy the latest and greatest. You know, I think the problem with like the big tech, I'm gonna rant, big tech channels, is they're always just pushing what's the newest thing. It's just advertising of what's the newest thing. And I wish there was just more people talking about the older stuff that handles things well. Obviously, this, you know, it's not gonna get you 4K gaming. But I have a machine that does 4K gaming, and I don't even like to use it in 4K. I think I got, and I feel like this sometimes. I got pushed in a direction I didn't want to, because I was the content I was consuming. I was watching a lot of LTT. Everyone was talking about 3090, 3090, 3090, 3090, 4K gaming, 4K gaming, and I was like, I gotta get a 3090. So I got caught up in the hype, and I got the rig, and I don't even play it. I don't even use it. I'd rather play on this thing for some weird reason. I just feel like playing with the settings is kind of fun sometimes, but I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying for me it was more fun to do this, to play on this thing, oddly enough, than a 4K 3090 gaming rig. I don't know. No weird, cool story, weird flex, right? I just want to show you guys that you're capable of still gaming pretty well on such low end hardware. I think the 1660 is still one of the #1 used GPUs. This RX 580 is so under appreciated in my opinion. Obviously the 1080 have dropped in price. I would pick a 1080 over this any day. But if you can get these for like $60 to $80, and the 1080s anywhere between $80 and $150, $150 I'd pick a RX 580. But if you can get a 1080 under $100 or under, I would get a 1080 out the gate. But the CPU will need to be better. So quick take about CPUs real quick. So if you had in mind of building something like this, if you're going anything lower than the 7th gen, I would say don't go anywhere lower than 4th gen. So from between 4th and 7th gen, you have to get an i7. Do not get an i5. Do not get an i3. You have to get an i7. It doesn't have to be a K variant, but i7 at the minimum. Anything above that, you can go i5 and i7. And the only time I'd get an i3 is if you're buying the latest and greatest i3. They're all still 4 cores, but they're way better than the i3s of the past, obviously. When it comes to AMD cards, do not get any FX cards. I don't care how many cores that it has, do not get an FX card. Stick with Ryzen and above, and I would even say stay away from the 1st gen Ryzen, because the 2nd gen Ryzens are so much. I just bought a i7 2700X for $50 on my next build, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty sure that CPU is still so I'm going to try to pair it with a 1080 Ti. I just got to find one. I almost bought one the other day for $80, but then my son was, he was going through something, and I couldn't make it to the meetup, and I lost out on the deal. But it's all right. There'll be plenty of other deals to find. I'm not in a big rush. I'm actually using it for an upcoming video that I'm planning on. This PC, great PC. Definitely highly recommend it. It's also a PC. You can do all PC stuff. You can video edit. You can do all this thing. You can browse. You can do anything. You can hack. You can do easy emulation on this thing. This thing will emulate a lot of games. Not the best of the games because of the CPU. Maybe PS3. Maybe some PS3. But definitely will do some emulation. This thing, sky's the limit for this thing, guys. So if you're on the fences building a PC, and then maybe it's because of price, I would say bargain hunt. You know, there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind bargain hunting. You want to make sure you're buying from someone that doesn't seem shady, you know, it doesn't seem too good to be true. Someone that has some history of selling stuff. So in Macari, you have ratings, and they tell you how many sales you've made. So people with higher sale ratings, yes, go for it. Facebook Marketplace. People that don't have accounts that were made that year, you know. I look for people that have older accounts, because more than likely they're legit decent people, and they won't scam you. But you know, with any of those, just take a risk. So I guess what I mean to say is, if you're buying things used versus buying new, if you can get 20% cheaper, buy it used. If it's less than 20% saving, buy it new, because it's not worth the headache if something doesn't work. I've never bought anything that, except for one thing, which was brand new and it didn't work. It was a power supply. I bought it from a guy. And it was brand new, sealed, didn't work. I had to RMA it. That was a pain. So just because it's new doesn't mean it's freaking gonna work. Just keep that in mind. More than 20%, do it. If not, I would just buy it on Amazon. At least you'll have a 30 to 90 day return window, or wherever else you buy it. For this PC, I'm not actually keeping this PC. The reason why I actually built this thing was to see what I could build cheapest as possible, which is an amazing experience, 1080p, but mainly as this is a gift for a friend of mine who is a console gamer and has been purely a console gamer and never dipped his foot into the PC world, mainly because of the hurdles of building a PC and the price. You know, the price is one thing, because it's like a PC without a graphics card is like $500. You know what I mean? It's expensive. It's super expensive. And why spend $500 on that when you can spend $500 on PlayStation 5? He's not a tinkerer like me, so we're both gamers. Halo LAN party, gang. So this definitely is a good introductory system for him, and so he can play it, test it out, see what he wants to do. Unfortunately, for a system like this is an end-of-life system. So meaning, if you had a system like this, basically that's it. You're not upgrading this thing. You might be able to put this GPU into a better CPU and get a bit 5 to 10% gain out of it, but for the most part, it's not going to get better than this. So once this thing play the title you want anymore, it's gone, it's done. That's the problem with some of this older stuff, I guess you could say, but that comes with the price, right? It's super cheap, affordable, but if it's not going to last buying anything in 2024, like new parts, but you're going to be spending a fraction of the price. So you just got to understand what you're getting into when you're buying older hardware. For the most part, though, I've never really had problem buying older hardware. I never had, just do what I said. Look for sellers that seem reputable. Test it right away. You got to test it right away. So don't buy something thinking like, oh, I'll test it, once I get this part. Get enough parts around so you can at least test this stuff, because if you're buying it online and you test it and it doesn't work, especially in Macari, you only got a 3-day window. But I've never had to return anything except for one thing. It was a controller. But eBay's pretty good. They give you about 30 days, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I've never returned something on eBay. But test it, and to make sure the person seems reputable. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it was informative. And remember, I am still moving. I kind of just threw this thing together just so I got something to give you guys. And plus, I need to give this thing away, and I wanted to do a video on this anyway. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I don't know if this is going to be my last video. I am working on other videos, but I don't know if I'll have the time to finish them before the move. So if this is the last one, thanks for watching. I'll see you when I see you, I guess. Peace.